The following contest is in the Rocktagon MMA Amateur Novice Middleweight Division, and it is brought to you by Famous Energy Drink. Drink famous, play famous, be famous. Introducing first in the blue corner, he fights out of Vincent, Indiana. He weighed in at 196 pounds, representing Outlaw DFF with an MMA record, 1 win, 0 losses. Please welcome Brian Grimm. His opponent in the red corner, he fights out of Martinsville, Indiana. He weighed at 194 pounds, representing Small Axe Jiu-Jitsu with an MMA record, 1 win, 0 losses. Please welcome Adam Abdu-Habib Big Dog Hayden. This bout is scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds, and when the action begins, your referee is Mr. Gary Copeland.
Not bad, Jake. I will give it an 8 out of 10 on Adam Hayden. Adam Copeland, long time cage fighting referee, spent time in UFC as well as other national organizations. He's joining Brian Grimm, black trunks. Adam Hayden in the white trunks. I'm Ryan Cavanaugh, and I'm joined by Will Burge. Good outside leg kick by Hayden.
That you saw there, Grimm waiting for it, caught it, and attacks right away. And he's punching, even though they're in the mix up against each other, he's able to throw some punches up and got a couple of those uppercuts to land, and then a big knee to the midsection.
Right after that knee, Adam Hayden looked for the double leg, and he's got his legs. He's going to pick up Grimm and dump him here, and there he goes.
Took him 3 or 4 attempts to get it done. Pretty good defense there by Grimm, but it doesn't matter as Hayden still gets him down to the mat. And this is really, I mean, Hayden obviously trained in jiu-jitsu and likes to be down on the mat as much as he likes to stand up. But Grimm, you got to stay away from those mitts, man. If he catches you with one in the stand-up, it's night-night.
Adam Hayden right now, there's punch into the body. Again, this is novice amateur in Indiana, which means you cannot strike to the head on the ground, which means that shots to the body, that's scoring points. And what's more difficult about that is being on the bottom and striking from the bottom, because a lot of times you can't get to the body of your opponent. Especially here, you see Grimm holding Hayden in his guard while his legs are covering the ribs. So there's not a whole lot of area. You're providing yourself to strike if you're on bottom. And
if you start trying to strike at the shoulders or at the arms or the midsection, you're also opening yourself up for those retaliation punches as Hayden trying to step over into a mount, but Grimm doing a good job of holding him off there. I think the most difficult part about all this, though, is Hayden's nickname. And good job by Jake. I said I wasn't going to try it, but Abu Habu Abu Big Dog. Is that right?
Sounds about right. I may have him say it himself.
Well, if he's able to pull off the victory, we're going to need you to do that. And look at him now into the mount there. And with 2 big guys like this, if you're able to punch to the face, this would be dangerous territory for Grimm. But really, Hayden's up so high, there's not a whole lot of submission attempts you could do from there.
But here he is going to go for a Kimura. You've got a Kimura head and arm, or you could go for an armbar. But by going for an armbar, you're going to lose position potentially. So unless you're within 30 seconds, I wouldn't advise doing that. But a Kimura here.
I like how Hayden approached it. He had the body up higher. His legs were up around the top of the ribs of Grimm, and then he stretched himself out and grabbed the Kimura simultaneously, almost in one fell swoop. And now you could see him cranking on it a little bit there, trying to work this thing out before the end of round number 1.
And he's got him. He's got that Kimura tight.
Grimm holding on there. This is not a comfortable position to be in. You could tell he did some arm wrestling in his days because he's holding it off pretty well, but Hayden really cranking it now.
That baby. Gary Copeland taking a close look at it. He's got it almost like a paintbrush and slide that wrist back.
He's got 10 seconds to get it done here.
And Grimm doing a nice job of straightening it out. The further away from his body the elbow is, the harder it's going to be for Hayden to get that locked up. Excellent defense and toughness out of Brian Grimm.
Very impressive.
Was torqued back. There's a lot of torque by Adam Hayden, and you saw him looking up at Gary Copeland, our referee, saying, he's got to be tapping. I know he's tapping, and Brian Grimm was having none out of it.
I'll tell you what, very, very impressed there by Brian Grimm. As good a job as it was by Adam Hayden to get him into the Kimura attempt, like I said, it was up high and almost maybe lulled Grimm into a false sense of security where he's up this high, I'm a little bit safe here, I could try to work for permission. Stretches himself out, and Hayden grabbed the Kimura, and here you see him cranking it backwards, and he's got to get the wrist all the way over and bend the elbow back up towards the head. And he had it 3 separate times. Every time Grimm, like one of those biker arm wrestlers you see in the movies, just pulled it right back the other way. Very, very impressive to fight that off. You got to wonder how the elbow is feeling now for Grimm, though, heading into round number 2.
You didn't name it, but anytime we get someone talking about over the top, I appreciate it.
Classic American movie right there.
Right. This is a classic American sport, mixed martial arts. Get a good look at the third man in the cage. Gary Copeland, never a problem when he's in the cage. One of the bigger referees in the country. We've got the big boys in there now. Brian Grimm, black trunks. Adam Hayden, white trunks. Nice shot by Brian Grimm. And Hayden, after taking that right hook, belly to back suplex, dumps him on the ground. Looking to move the mount, looking to take the back of Grimm. Adam Hayden has both hooks in. And now he's got 2 minutes and 45 seconds to work for the choke here.
He's got great positioning for it, too. Grimm's got to be very careful about that chin. You see him keeping it tucked down in between the shoulders, in between the arms, not giving Hayden any chance to shoot that arm, or as he just tried with the right hand.
The problem for Adam Hayden here is he gets his left hand under. We'll see which grip he uses. There's several grips you could use to complete the rear naked choke here. But the problem is when you can't strike to the face is you can't loosen him up.
Yeah. Yeah, really, there's only one thing he can expect in this situation, and that's for you to try to get underneath the chin and choke him out. It's not like in other situations where he also has to fend off punches to the side of the face as well. He's doing a good job, Grimm, is keeping the chin down against his chest, not giving any room for Hayden.
And he's going to roll into him. He's got that hand out. Grimm is going to roll into him, and there he is. Takes the top position, now in the guard of Adam Hayden. So far, it's been Adam Hayden who has impressed me with the ground game. Let's see what Brian Grimm can do.
I'll tell you what, the word that comes to mind when it comes to Grimm right now is tough. I mean, he fought off the Kimura attempt right there, fought off a choke attempt, and really just grown man strength rolled over on this one. But as we said, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background of Hayden used to being on his back, and another place where he can go, try to slide the hips out, and maybe try for another type of submission attempt.
Brian Grimm, real patient here. You see the guard moving up real high.
Got to watch that arm now.
He does have the arm in. Adam Hayden's going to look potentially for a triangle, and there he's looking for an arm bar. Now leg lock, and leg locks. Leg lock, not legal here in the amateur division.
Grimm just kind of looking for anything at this point.
Right.
Scratching and clawing. This is more of a scramble than anything, and right back on top goes Hayden, this time into side control, almost into a north-south.
Side control, and Hayden is going to look for work on that arm again. Here you go, cross arm Kimura, cross side rather. What he wants to do, Will, in this position is keep the elbow tight to the body. You're not pulling the arm, you're not moving the elbow as much as you are. He's going to step over his head, and he might be too far. But you want to keep the elbow tight to the body, and that's where the torque on the shoulder and the elbow really comes from on that Kimura.
And he moves back over to control. 10 seconds to go in the second round. Probably won't be enough time for Hayden here either. Both times he got in this position with minimal time left in the round. But what that's going to do, I call it the De La Hoya effect. And that's where you just steal some points right before the end of the round. It always looks like you dominated.
Right. Well, as you mentioned earlier, 3-minute round, that was a very competitive round,
yeah.
Close round. Back and forth, both guys had their time in advantageous positions, and a lot of time it's that exclamation point at the end of the round that the judges remember when they put pencil to paper.
And that's probably what happened there. I'd imagine Hayden probably stole round number 2 as well with that. You know, Grimm, I don't think is the type of guy who worries all that much about trailing on the scorecards heading into a third and final round. I think he feels like at any time if he gets the shot he wants, and we saw him almost connect with the right hand early on in that second round. If he connects on that thing, I mean, anybody's going to go night-night on it. So, you know, if you're in his corner, you're just telling him, hey, free swinging, stay away from Hayden. Don't let him get you back down on the mat that quickly. At least try to make him work for it. As you see Hayden with the beautiful slam there, and this was early on in the second round, right on the left shoulder of Brian Grimm.
Will, 2 rounds in the books, 3 rounds. Middleweight action in the novice amateur division. How do you see this fight on your scorecard?
I say you have a Hayden. Both rounds go to him. And 10-9 both rounds. Grimm's got some work to do here, but as I said, I don't think he's the type of guy who's too worried about that stuff. 1-0 his career, first win coming from knockout. I think that's what he's looking for. He's going to look to end this thing with a punch. He's got to stay away from the takedown, though, as we saw. Hayden won his last fight via unanimous decision, looking to try to do it again.
Hayden really impressive going to the body. Grimm throwing some big punches. And Grimm actually just popped down to his knees to prevent that takedown. But Adam Hayden has both hands around the back of Grimm, and if he's able to connect there, he just dumped him on his backside. Adam Hayden for the third consecutive round on top of Brian Grimm.
And there he is again, a familiar position, but once again, Grimm rolling him over, and that's just strength right there.
Grimm is a strong man, and there's the scrambles, and look at Adam Hayden in the scramble, getting back on top. And now he's got a decision. Do I try to take his back, or do I flip over to the mount? He's got him up against the cage. He's going for that arm again.
Hayden just buying his time here. He knows his corner telling him, look, you're in good shape. You can be patient. You can wait for your spot. Grimm's the one who's got to find something to do here, but also the longer they lay here and don't too much more, referee Gary Copeland might stand him back up, and that's going to help out Grimm. So it'll be interesting. If you're Hayden, you want to be patient, but not too patient, lose your advantageous position.
Well, he's got him mounted here. Really flatten him out, and now he's going to work for
right back on the same arm again.
There he's gonna slip his hips out and look for an armbar on that right arm of Brian Grimm. So he's gonna spin, and there it is, armbar.
Oh, and he stretched it out.
And that's deep. And Brian Grimm is tough, but I don't know how long he can hang on here for. He wants to pull that straight down, buck his hips, and there you see it, lifting the hips off the ground.
Arch the back a little bit, create a little bit of daylight between the mat and your butt.
But the only thing he's missing is the space between his hips and the body of Grimm. But he is working for the finish. Brian Grimm getting the feet involved, and he's out of it.
What a tough guy Grimm is. I got to tell you, he's getting through this thing on grit.
This is one tough fighter. I said he's got an armbar, and it looks to be deep, but you really have to have an armbar hurt to make Brian Grimm tap from it.
Just one of those guys you could tell in his MMA career, he's probably not going to get finished a whole lot. Could take a punch, obviously can fend off a submission attempt. And Hayden now, even though he's winning this fight, he's got to be thinking to himself, what the hell? I swear I had this thing won twice.
Right. In Hayden's mind, his record right now is 5-0. And he came in 1-0. North-south position, 10 seconds. Adam Hayden looks like he is going to grind out a victory here. But what a fight for Adam Hayden.
Wow.
Really, when you talk about a fighter who came in here to impress, who wanted to get the finish.
I mean, he hadn't fought in a year and a half inside the cage. Steps in there, didn't seem to be fazed by it whatsoever, came in, and if you look under the left eye of Adam Hayden, I mean, he's swollen. He's got a black eye. It's cut open a little bit there. A great shot from our camera crew. And he was able to ignore it, keep his composure, and dominate Dowd on the mat, and really outlast an extremely tough fighter in Brian Grimm. And it looks as though Adam Hayden's going to get the big. And right here, look how deep that thing is, Ryan. I mean, this should be a tap 10 times out of 10. Give Brian Grimm all the credit in the world. And right now, if there was a thought bubble right above Adam Hayden's head, it would say, when the hell is this guy going to tap?
Right. Yeah, that is a tough opponent right there. And the war marks. Look at him torquing that arm. You'll see him put it under his arm as if I'm really gonna break it.
Yeah.
If I can't get him to tap, and then that's when Brian Grimm popped out of it. And you see he just referenced Bull Hurley and Sylvester Stallone in Over the Top. And we might have to go to Rocky and ask for Adam Hayden to get cut, because that is an enormous contusion below his eye. And we're going to send it up to Jake Digman for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for both of these Rocktagon warriors. After 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. The judges score this bout 30-27, 30-27, and 29-28 for your winner by unanimous decision, Adam Abu Hanafi.